deserve a second term, but we're not done. Look, when you and I sat down, we were losing 750,000 jobs a month. Now we're creating 250,000. We've created 3.7 million jobs over the last 23 months. We've created the most jobs since 2005, the most manufacturing jobs since 1990. But we're not finished. The key right now is just make sure that we don't start turning in a new direction that could throw that progress off.
President Obama made his, I think, best case for a second term during a Super Bowl interview with Matt Lauer yesterday, and a new poll shows Americans are starting to agree with him. The latest Washington Post ABC News poll shows that President Obama leading Mitt Romney by 6 points. The president was down by 2 last month. The biggest swing is among independents. Today, President Obama leads Romney 47-46, but 3 weeks ago, the Mittster was ahead by 12 points. What a turnaround. One reason for the shift, people are getting to know Mitt Romney better. And the more they see, the more they don't like him. 52% of the people say that the more they hear about Mitt Romney, the less they like him. And Romney is failing in his attempt to appeal to the 99%. The president has a 19-point lead on the question of who voters trust to protect the middle class. Romney is already in damage control mode. His campaign is attacking the poll question, calling them seriously flawed, but the Washington Post stands by its questionnaire. Let's turn to Joan Walsh, editor-at-large for Salon.com, and MSNBC contributor E.J. Dionne, senior fellow at the Brookings Institution and columnist for the Washington Post. I don't know about you two, but I tell you what, I loved it when President Obama came out and said, you know what, these were the numbers and this is what they are right now, and oh, by the way, I deserve a second term. Joan, it's kind of almost out of character for the president to talk like that. What do you think? Is he making the turn?
I think he's made the turn, Ed, and I think that turn is part of why his numbers are going up. I mean, I think there are several things going on. We do see unemployment coming down, not as fast as we would like. It's still a problem, but it's coming down. The numbers are going in the right direction. And the president's own rhetoric has been much more feisty, much more populist, and has given people the feeling that he's confident in them, and that we're really on the right track. And I think that in turn is shoring up his base and also attracting independents. And then, of course, the third thing we've talked about for months and months, that the Republicans are scaring people.
EJ, does he stay this course? Does he keep this tone? Is this the winning strategy, you think?
Well, it's sure much more winning than what he was pursuing 6 months ago. I think what you're seeing are two short-term things, two long-term things. The long-term things are, as Joan suggested, starting in September, he abandoned seeking bipartisanship with people who didn't want to pursue bipartisanship and started making an argument about fairness and shared prosperity. I think Occupy Wall Street deserves a hat tip here because they really changed the nation's conversation. We are talking a lot more about economic inequality than we were 6 months or a year ago, and that's not good for conservatives. And then short term, I think Romney has suffered more than he's gained in these primaries, particularly, it seems, when he talks about money. And lastly, I think what's significant is not just that the economy has improved, because it started doing that a while ago, but Americans are starting to believe that it's improving. They're sensing that this time it may be for real. Now, some things could go wrong in Europe or in Iran, but for now, I think Americans think we may have finally turned the corner, and that makes a huge difference. So I don't see why the president would abandon what he started in September, and he keeps doubling up on it in Osawatomie and then in the State of the Union.
Right.
Joan, why would one of the leading right-wing hacks out there, Karl Rove, come out and even talk about a Super Bowl ad? I mean, this really must have gotten under their skin. What do you make of the backlash on the Clint Eastwood ad?
You know, I think it's really fascinating, Ed. I think it tells us a lot about American politics today, because that was not a political ad. Karl Rove had a hissy fit over nothing. Clint Eastwood is a conservative, has been a conservative. But what that told me, Ed, is that they're starting to understand that they've destroyed their brand. Their brand, Ronald Reagan's brand, was optimism. They were the ones with faith in the country. They were the ones who believed our brightest days were ahead. And they managed to depict Democrats often as kind of nervous Nellies and very critical of the country and not great believers in our spirit. And what I think you've seen now is Karl Rove is terrified. When he hears that language, it sounds like Barack Obama. It wasn't a about Barack Obama, but it sounds like it. That's not good news for Republicans, and it shows how far that we've really turned a kind of corner where the Republicans are the negative, nasty, pessimistic ones, and the Democrats are the ones with the optimism.
I find it amazing. You know, you think back in the days, EJ, of Karl Rove running the political machine for George Bush. It must be a low day for him to have to come out and comment on a Superbowl ad that talks about creating jobs. Where's the pro-growth agenda here, big guy? I mean, I just find it amazing.
Well, you know, he's a commentator now, so he's got to talk about all trending items everywhere. So that may have had something to do with it. But I do think that the Republicans, as Joan suggested, have really put themselves in a box. I mean, FDR cornered optimism in his day, and Ronald Reagan stole it from the Democrats, and the Democrats kind of played along, and they were kind of grumpy, and they were worried about the direction of the country. I think Clinton stole it back from Reagan, but now what you have is the Republicans completely abandoning optimistic talk, and in a way they have to, because their political base really believes the country is fundamentally on the wrong direction, so they have to keep saying these negative things. But I think the Chrysler ad really played much more to where Americans are. We are optimistic and hopeful people.
Right.
I mean, the voice, you know, I mean, the sternness of Clint Eastwood. I mean, just taking you right down to the streets where the people are who want a job and are going to turn it around. How can you give up on them? We can't get knocked down by a punch. I mean, it was all the things that President Obama has been believing in since the day he went into the office. Stick with the American worker, and you're never going to go wrong. I thought it was out of the park. And to have them respond to it is even better. Joan Walsh, EJ Gian, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.